Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the whole Bow Wow incident that has been making its rounds on social media for the past several days and give some of my thoughts about what has happened and how domestic violence affects our society. Talk a little bit about male versus female and when it comes to domestic violence. So let's go ahead and get into it. So if you haven't heard already, on February 2nd, Bow Wow was arrested. Little Bow Wow, the rapper, if you don't know who he is, him and his girlfriend were arrested on February 2nd for domestic violence or domestic battery, I believe it was. And on the mugshot, it appeared you could see him with scratches all over his face. And in her mugshot, her face was looking, fresh. She looked like she just woke up and, just had a drink of water. She has no scratches or any kind of residuals of physical altercation at all. And the thing I wanted to discuss today was that I saw tons of memes and, tons of chatter about how Bow Wow got bested by a female. And I want to talk a little bit about how that impacts our society. I could take a joke. I thought some of the memes were really funny, to be quite honest. But I also, thought about the serious side of it, which is domestic violence. And while a lot of people are making jokes and saying, he got his behind kicked by a woman, I do want to sit and stop for a second and realize that Bow Wow probably showed a lot of restraint. I read that there was a lamp involved. I'm not entirely sure, but she definitely was the aggressor. She was violent and struck him and scratched him several times. Now, who's to say? We can't 100% say that he did not touch her at all. He may have very well struck her or hit her and there was just no bruises, but I'm not entirely sure. She said that he did, but it seems like from what the cops have, what the reports have shown in her pictures, that he did not indeed touch her. She was probably yelling, screaming, kicking, and punching him, and just being overall violent with him, and he didn't strike her back. At least not enough to leave any physical evidence. And we see people on social media, we see a lot of men clowning him, and we even see a lot of women clowning him. Black Twitter has let him have it. I want to say that someone who grew up in, seeing domestic violence against my mother, that it is a very serious issue. And obviously men are stronger than women physically, and a lot of men are. I mean, there's obviously an exception to every rule that, there are women who are, some women who are stronger than the men that they date. Bow Wow is a relatively short in stature type of person. He is a smaller guy. He is biologically a man, and he could still easily overpower this young lady. I think her name was Kayomi Leslie. And he didn't do that. He showed a lot of restraint during this time. So for people to be clowning him, if this was the other way around, if she had the mugshot with scratches and bruises all over her, he would be every name under the sun. He would be thrown under the jail, and people would be clowning him, questioning his manhood. And it seems like they're questioning his manhood now, with him being on the receiving end of the blows and the scratches and the punches. And I just don't think that's right. I mean, like I said, it's okay to have your fun and think of, and laugh about, certain things. But I think as a whole, people really need to look at this situation and re-examine themselves, because during this whole Me Too movement and feminism and all this, I think that we risk minimizing all of those efforts to give women equal rights. And I'm not saying I agree with the Me Too movement or feminism. I'm not getting into that on this video, but I think we risk minimizing that if we just make a joke out of what she did to him. And this man's life could have been ruined. His life could have been ruined if he had just struck her back and left a bruise. But it's okay to laugh and make fun of him because she beat him. And I think it does take a special type of man. I've seen women be violent with men. Not in my own house. I've seen the domestic violence the other way around. But I have out in public and, in different scenarios seen women be violent with men and men show a great deal of restraint. People need to learn how to keep their hands to themselves. Okay? It doesn't matter how angry you get. I'm married, and me and my husband have gotten angry with one another several times. I have never once struck him, and he has never once struck me. It is about being a mature adult and handling your anger. If you cannot handle your anger and control your emotions, you need to go see a therapist or be on some sort of medication, because you should not get to the point to where you are scratching someone's face like that. So this young lady needs to get some help. He needs to leave her alone, because he's going to end up in a situation to where he's going to be arrested again. There's no telling what this girl is into, because she obviously has violent tendencies. And I have never, apparently both of them on the show Growing Up Hip Hop, I've never watched the show. So I don't know much about her. All I know is her name and this story. There's so much talk, like I said, about Me Too movement, feminism, and toxic masculinity. And this is one of those things that plays right into it. We have to do the same for our men as well. We have to respect them and not be okay with them being sexually abused or, violated or abused physically. That is abuse. That is what that is. She physically abused him and probably is doing some emotional abuse too. I think it is hypocritical for society to be doing this and making jokes and laughing at him when she very well could have physically hurt him seriously. Like I said, there was mention of a lamp. She could have busted that man upside the head and he could have been in the hospital or in a coma or something, depending on how hard she hit him and how big the lamp was. I just think, we should open up our eyes, and this should be something that everyone should re-examine and look at for themselves and within themselves, and ask themselves, how do they feel about men being abused? And do you think it's funny? I mean, do you think it's something that can't be taken lightly? Do you think it's something that, this man's a wuss, he's a wimp if he's letting a girl beat him up? I personally was brought up to believe that if a woman is being violent to a man, you still don't strike her back, you restrain her. Meaning you hold her arms down, or you grab her in a way that you would kind of keep her arms restricted to where she can't scratch or punch or kick or whatever. You kind of just restrain her and walk until you can get out of that situation, or you leave the situation as best that you can. A person's natural instincts is to hit back. Not saying it's okay. I'm not saying that a man hitting a woman is okay, but it is a person's natural instinct, if you hit them, for them to hit you back. It takes a great deal of restraint for a man to be pummeled like it looks like he was, and not hit back. So those are my thoughts about it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've ever been in a situation where you've seen it happen, or if if you've been in a situation, if you're a man and you've had a woman abuse you, or if you're a woman who has done the abusing to a man. Let me know what your thoughts are and what your experiences are, and subscribe to my channel if you guys like what you see. I'll be trying to do more videos like this. I like to keep these videos kind of short and pose a question, because I love to see the discussion in the comment sections. So let me know what you guys think, and I will catch up with you guys a little later on the next video. All right, see you guys later. Bye.